Hello class 6. Today I'm going to do a new topic in history, Mauryan Empire with you. Okay. So I've already sent two videos of Indus Valley Civilization and Introduction of History. And now today I'm going to give you this lesson. Please take down the important meanings, the boys who missed it in the class, and note down the terms and just listen to the lesson carefully. Now in this chapter, that is the Mauryan Empire, we will study about the Mahajanpadas of Magad, which became the center of India's first empire. So, in this chapter, we are going to study about the kingdom Magad, which was a very ancient kingdom of India, and we are going to study about the Mahajanpadas and Janpadas. Now, what are Mahajanpadas? What are Mahajanpadas? These are a set of 16 kingdoms that existed in ancient India. Okay, a set of 16 kingdoms that existed in ancient India. And Magad was an ancient Indian kingdom between the 6th century BC and the 8th century BC, and which is now in Bihar. Magad is now in Bihar. So now in this chapter we will study about the Mahajanpadas of Magad, of ancient India. Magad, the ancient Indian kingdom, which became the center of India's first empire. And in this chapter, children, also about two great kings you will study, that is Chandragupta Maurya and Ashoka. Magad not only established control over the other Mahajanpadas but also drew tributes from remote regions beyond the Mahajanpadas. So Magad, it became a very powerful empire in ancient India, and it of course controlled all the Mahajanpadas, but at the same time it also drew tributes from other kingdoms from which were in the remote region. What is a tribute? Tribute is, at that time, what was tribute? Tribute taken was an act, statement, or gift that is intended to show gratitude, respect, or admiration. Okay. So tribute is an act, statement, or gift that is intended to show gratitude, respect, or admiration. In thus, it thus became what became Magad. It thus became the center of an empire whose military strength was acknowledged by all. So Magad became the center of the empire. It became a very powerful kingdom in ancient India, and its strength was acknowledged by all. And nobody dared to challenge it. No other kingdom dared to challenge Magad. Acknowledge is acceptance of the truth. Acceptance of the truth. So nobody dared to challenge Magad, and they all really acknowledged its superiority and its control and strength. The powerful empire of Magad was established by Chandragupta Maurya, and it began to take shape shortly after Alexander's invasion of northwestern India. Now, this kingdom, that is Magad, this empire Magad, it had taken shape and it became into prominence under the ruler, that is Chandragupta Maurya. He established this empire, this powerful empire of Magad. Now, the foundation of this. Around the time of Alexander's invasion, one of the Nanda rulers, who was unpopular for his cruelty. This Nanda ruler was very unpopular because he was a cruel king. He forced Chandragupta, a brave warrior of the Maurya tribe, to leave Magad. Okay, this Nanda ruler, who was very cruel, he forced Chandragupta to leave his tribe, okay, and to go to another kingdom and to leave Magad. Chandragupta took refuge. Refuge is shelter. Chandragupta, he took refuge in northwestern India. Hence, he met the wise Brahman Chanakya, who was also known as Kautilya. With Chanakya's help, Chandragupta overthrew the Nandas and he established the Maurya dynasty in 321 BC. He set up his capital at Patliputra, which is of course known as modern Patna now, which is in Bihar. So he was overthrown. Chandragupta was overthrown. He was thrown out of his kingdom by the Nanda rulers, and then again with the help of Chanakya, he took refuge, of course, in northwestern India, and then where he met the Brahman Chanakya, who was also known as Kautilya, and then he overthrew the Nanda rulers, and he again became powerful and established this powerful empire of the Maurya dynasty, and he had his capital at Patliputra, which is now in modern Patna. So I hope you understood till here, children. Now we are going to read about Chandragupta Maurya, the greatest king of the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya conquered the territories covering modern Afghanistan from the Greece ruler Seleucus Nicator. Later, he sent his envoy Megasthenes to Patliputra. Who sent his envoy? That is Seleucus Nicator. He sent his envoy, uh, his name was Megasthenes, to Patliputra. Envoy is a messenger or representative. Envoy, E-N-V-O-Y, envoy means a messenger or representative. Now, Chandragupta conquered the territories covering modern Afghanistan from the Greek ruler Seleucus Nicator, who later sent his envoy Megasthenes to Patliputra, that is the capital of the empire. Chandragupta, he expanded his kingdom, which now included Bihar and other parts of the eastern Gangetic plain, central India, and parts of the Deccan. So he was expanding his empire. In 297 BC, he stepped down from his throne. Who stepped down from the throne? Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta was one of the most remarkable rulers in history, a brave soldier, and a very good and a wise administrator. He laid the foundation of the Maurya Empire through a series of conquests. He did many conquests, he became a very good conqueror, he was a very good administrator, and he laid the foundation of this empire. Through a series of conquests, he expanded his kingdom. A wise and just king, he ruled benevolently. Benevolently means very kindly. He ruled very kindly. According to one of the Jain texts, Chandragupta was deeply influenced by Jainism. Okay, so he was influenced by this religion, Jainism. Chandragupta's son and successor, Bindusara, extended the Maurya Empire southwards up to Mysore. Who was Chandragupta's son? Bindusara. And after Chandragupta, he came to the throne and he extended the Maurya Empire up to Mysore. Chandragupta's son and successor Bindusara extended the Mauryan Empire southwards up to Mysore, and then in 273 BC, Bindusara was succeeded by his son Ashoka. So you have to remember this, children, in this chapter, which we've just read, the first page, that we are reading about the Mahajanpadas and the powerful empire of the Mauryan Empire, Magad. We are also reading about Magad, which was very popular at that time, and Magad is an ancient Indian kingdom. And what are Mahajanpadas? They are a set of 16 kingdoms. Mahajanpadas are a set of 16 kingdoms that existed in ancient India, and Magad, it was at that time in ancient India and between 6th century and 8th century BC, and now it is in Bihar. And then we have read about the powerful king of the Maurya dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, and then how he was overthrown by the Nandas, and then he took refuge in northwestern India, and there he met this wise Brahmin Chanakya, also known as Kautilya, and with his help he again got back his empire and he overthrew the Nandas, and he laid the foundation of the powerful empire. He was a very good administrator, a very just king, and then he extended his empire by a series of conquests. And then after him, after Chandragupta Maurya, when he stepped down from his throne, who succeeded him? Bindusara. Bindusara was Chandragupta Maurya's son and successor. And then he extended his empire southwards up to Mysore. And after Bindusara, we are going to read that who came after Bindusara. And Bindusara then was succeeded by his son Ashoka. So 3 kings you've read about the Mauryan dynasty: Chandragupta Maurya, then his son Bindusara, who extended the kingdom up to Mysore, and then his son Ashoka. Now, Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka, is remembered as one of the greatest rulers of India. Historians learned about Ashoka's from inscriptions on pillars and rocks. Ashoka was a very great king of India, and historians, they know about Ashoka from many pillar inscriptions and rock inscriptions found in various parts of India. For a long time, most of the inscriptions could not be read as they were in a script that had gone out of use. The script had gone out of use, people could not read it. In 1837, a scholar named James Prinsep, he deciphered the script and identified it as Brahmi. So, in 1837, John Princeps, he deciphered the script. He deciphered the script which could not be read for a very long time. Write down the meaning of decipher. Means convert a text written in code into normal language. Now, any text which is written in a code any text which is written in a code, it is converted into normal language. So that is called decipher. So this text, whatever was written about Ashoka on pillars and rocks, could not be read because the script people did not know. And then when it was converted into normal language, then of course people came to know what was written. The inscriptions provided invaluable information about the reign of a kind ruler named Ashoka and the extent of his empire. So, from the inscriptions, we come to know. I told you, children, what is inscription? Anything which is written on a hard surface. And then from the inscriptions, we come to know about this kind ruler Ashoka and the extent of his empire. Ashoka's empire, it extended roughly from the Hindu Kush and the Himalayas in the north to the river Pennar in the south. So from the Himalayas in the north to river Pennar in the south, Ashoka's kingdom expanded. Kalinga War. It is a very important war in the history of Ashoka's reign. In about 261 BC, Ashoka attacked and conquered Kalinga. So in 261 BC, Ashoka, he attacked this kingdom of Kalinga and then he conquered Kalinga, which is now in modern Orissa. Thousands on both sides were killed. Both sides means in Ashoka's side also, and he attacked Kalinga. So that side also the army, many soldiers were killed and they were wounded. The bloodshed and the wailing of widows. Wailing means the crying of widows. Widows, the ladies who lost their husbands, and orphans. Orphans are the children who lost their parents or their father, haunted Ashoka. He gave up war and adopted the path of peaceful conquest, and he called his new policy Dhamma Vijay. So Kalinga War was a turning point in Ashoka's life, because after the war he suddenly realized that there was no use of doing this. This bloodshed really haunted him. The wailing of widows and the crying and the wailing of these small children who had lost their fathers really haunted him in his dreams. And after this war, he gave up bloodshed, he gave up war, and he adopted the path of peaceful conquest, which is known as Dhamma Vijay. Now, what was Ashoka's Dhamma? Ashoka's Dhamma was derived from the Sanskrit word dharma, meaning religious duty. It was deeply influenced by Buddhism and was based on tolerance, non-violence, and respect for elders. So mainly it was based on non-violence. The main principles of Dhamma were the main principles of Ashoka's Dhamma. People should live in peace and harmony. All the people, they should live in peace and harmony, and they should show respect and tolerance to all, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. To whichever caste or creed you belong, but you should have respect for others, and you should respect people from other castes also, not saying that he belongs to this caste or he belongs to a low caste. And they should also respect their elders. Okay, so Ashoka's Dhamma said that people should live in peace and harmony, and they should show respect and tolerance to all, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. Caste, creed means color, and they should respect their elders. So that was Ashoka's Dhamma. And the fourth point of Ashoka's Dhamma was masters, they should be kind to their servants. Masters means the owners. You have servants at home, you have people working for you, you should be kind to them. And people should follow ahimsa and not kill any living being. And the main policy of this Dhamma was that you should not kill any living being. Ashoka practiced Dhamma in his own life and in ruling his kingdom. So because he had given up war, so he was practicing this policy in his own life and in ruling his kingdom. He discontinued warfare and undertook many welfare measures. He made roads, wells, rest houses, and canals. For the comfort of travelers, he planted fruit bearing trees along the roads, especially the royal highway connecting Patliputra and Taxila in the northwest. He also set up hospitals for the sick. So he was taking all these welfare measures for the benefit of all the people of his kingdom. Now, he also made many efforts to spread his Dhamma. Ashoka, he made many efforts to spread his Dhamma. Ashoka issued edicts or royal orders. What are edicts? They are royal orders to spread the message of Dhamma. He had his edicts engraved on pillars and rocks and set up in public places all over the empire. So whatever was there in his Dhamma, he had it engraved on pillars and rock, and it was set up in all public places where people could easily see and read them. The edicts were written in local script. Most of them were written in Prakrit language. It was the common language of the people. using the Brahmi script. And in his edicts, Ashoka addressed himself. In these edicts, Ashoka, he addressed himself as the father of his people. And really, he was doing the work of a father. He was really taking care of his people. So all his edicts, they were engraved on pillars and rocks and set up in public places all over the empire where people could go and read them. And they were written in their common language, that was Prakrit. Ashoka himself toured the kingdom to spread the message of Dharma. And he also took, it's not that he only engraved this or he sent people, but he himself, he took tours in his kingdom to spread this message. He appointed special officers called Dharma Mahamatras to interpret and carry out royal orders. So he appointed special officers who were known as Dharma Mahamatras, and these people also they interpreted this royal order, and they carried it out and explained it to people. Write down the meaning of interpret means to explain the meaning. To explain the meaning, because they had to, many people, they could not read or write, so they did not understand what was written on the rocks and pillars. So these Dharma Mahamatras, they explained it to them, they interpreted it and made it into simple language and explained to the people. Now, Buddhist council and foreign missions. Buddhist council and foreign missions. Foreign mission means that to spread this, his religion, his views, he took great efforts. To settle differences in the interpretation of Buddhist teachings, to settle differences. Differences means there were many differences, people did not understand in the interpretation, that is understanding of Buddhist teachings. Ashoka convened a Buddhist council at Patliputra. So Ashoka, he also spread the religion Buddhism, and and in his reign he convened a council. He convened a council at Patliputra. Convene means come together for a meeting or activity. He called the people, okay, of the Buddhist religion. Convene means he come together for a meeting or activity. Come together for a meeting or activity. So he called a council at Patliputra. After the council, Ashoka sent missionaries. After the council, he sent missionaries not only to different parts of India but also to foreign lands like Greece, Syria. Of course, Buddhism was spread in all parts of his kingdom, but then also outside India, and he sent people outside India to Greece, Syria, Central Asia, and Sri Lanka. The mission to Sri Lanka was led by Ashoka's son Mahendra and his daughter Sanghamitra. These missions spread the teachings of the Buddha beyond the borders of India. So he became a Buddhist and he followed this religion, and he made many great efforts to spread it in India and to foreign countries. And to spread this religion, his son and daughter, son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra, they went to Sri Lanka. Now, how did the Maurya Empire come to an end? Ashoka, he stepped down from his throne in 232 BC, and he was succeeded by a series of weak rulers. As a result, the system of administration began to collapse. Collapse means come to an end. After Ashoka, he was a very good king, he was a very just king, a very wise king, but after him, the empire came to an end because other rulers who came after Ashoka, they were very weak. In 185, Brihadratha, the last Maurya ruler, was murdered by Pushyamitra Sungha, and thus the Maurya dynasty came to an end. The last ruler of the Maurya dynasty after Ashoka, of course, between Ashoka and Brihadatta, many other weak rulers came, but they were very weak. Their names are not there mentioned. They did not do any remarkable thing. And the last ruler of the Mauryan dynasty, Brihadatta, he was murdered by Pushyamitra Sungha. And then the Mauryan dynasty came to an end. So children, I hope you have understood till here. Go through this video again and again. You will come through some meanings also, which you will understand by going through those meanings. You will understand the chapter and the sentence. Okay. So, and tomorrow I will send you one more video of part 2 of the Mauryan Empire. Okay. Goodbye children. Stay safe and take care. Bye bye.